Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive DC vs. Dark Horse NECA 2-pack featuring Batman and the Predator. And I'm very excited about this set, so let's jump right into it, starting with the packaging. Much like the Superman and Alien packaging, it's very simple. We have a black background. Here we have a Predator logo, and on this side we have some Batman artwork. On the bottom it says 20th Century Fox. Over here it says DC. Up here ages 17 and up, and that's it pretty much. On the side it's black, on the back it's black, on this side it's black, on the top it's black. It's all black, everything. And then we open this up, we're able to see the figures, and they look pretty cool in there. We have like a green background, and there's a bunch of accessories. This time around the Predator got a bunch of cool stuff, and then Batman actually got less than the Predator, so that's pretty interesting. But anyways, let's open this set up and take a look at these two figures. Okay, so now we have both of these figures out of the box, and both of them have a lot of nice sculpting work, a lot of nice details and articulation, but they both have a lot of QC issues, especially the Predator figure, and it's really frustrating because they're exclusives. It was kind of a hassle to get them, and then you have to deal with a bunch of just poor quality. But in terms of like how good the figure is, I mean, it looks really good. The articulation is very nice. I love all the sculpting work. Let's take a look at all that, and then we'll talk about all the QC issues I encountered with this guy. But let's take a look at his head sculpt. That looks really cool. Then you've got the dreadlock type of things in the back that are soft plastic. And if you already collect the NECA Predator stuff, then this figure is probably not going to be a huge surprise to you, because it looks like a pretty standard NECA Predator figure. But I do like it a lot. And even though I don't collect the NECA figures, much like the Alien stuff, I was kind of interested in it, but I just could never pull the trigger. I've been closer to pulling the trigger with Predator because I kind of, when I was little, I was really into Predator. So I was going to buy a couple of these figures, but I just never did it. And after having this one, I'm kind of glad that I never really took the jump, because the QC issues were really frustrating with this guy. But I do like all the details. I like this net that's on his skin. It looks really cool. There's a lot of really crazy details with all the armor and stuff. I love how this little panel flips open, and then you have his like thing when he loses a fight and he wants to blow up the world or whatever. And then you have all these little tubes. You have the necklace with the little skulls on it that looks really cool. All the sculpted details are incredible, to be honest with you. NECA always kills it with the sculpting work and stuff like that. So all of that is really good. Then on this side, you have these claws that come out. That was a surprise to me. I didn't know that that was going to happen, but that's really cool. Check out those blades. And I like the skin and everything. All these little armor pieces are really nice. There's a little plug hole right here, but I'm not really sure what goes in there. I couldn't really figure it out. And you got the feet that are sculpted nice. So yeah, no big surprise that it's a very well sculpted figure, but let me tell you about the QC issues that I encountered. So first of all, I couldn't get this arm to move like at all. This was stuck. It wouldn't turn, and trying to lift it up, the joint is really tight. Originally there was a little shoulder pad on there that's very well sculpted, but it just fell off. The glue kind of just like didn't hold, and it just fell off. Maybe it's because I was trying to heat it up and all that good stuff. But yeah, I was really just trying to get this shoulder to move, and it was just giving me a really hard time. And now I feel like this peg in here is fragile, so I'm afraid to move it around. Eventually, after a lot of work, I was able to get it to spin. And, you know, I'm just going to be careful with it. So, you know, I could live with that. And you could see right there, that peg is looking really weak, very stressed out. And I think it's starting to crack. So I'm probably just going to leave this arm alone. That's very unfortunate, man. That sucks. And then in the knee, I couldn't get the knee to bend at all, especially on the top joint here. And then after messing with it a long time and trying to heat it up and stuff and kind of taking it apart, one of the pegs cracked in half in the most awkward position. I don't even know how it happened. And yeah, it's really frustrating because, like I said, it's an exclusive. It was kind of a hassle to get, and it really shouldn't have that many problems. But it is a really nice looking figure. It's going to look cool just standing on the shelf for sure, but I'm just going to kind of resent it every time I try to mess with it. And as for Batman, even though mine had a couple of issues, I'm actually really happy with it. I really like the way that the armor pieces look. It has like a metallic type of look. We have some battle damage in here that looks cool. Some scratches on this side. The Bat logo that looks awesome. The shoulder pads are soft plastic, so they don't really get in the way, but they're sculpted very nice. The forearms are sculpted really cool. There's some nice details in there. And I like the blue. The blue kind of makes me think of the Dark Knight Returns Batman armor, so that's cool. And then we have this faceplate thing that is cool, but it won't sit there securely, so it falls off really easy. But, you know, you could remove it, and then you could see his face under there. Batman looking all crazy and mad. But yeah, that's really awesome. But I like the way this looks. It's like a different take on Batman. And check out the sculpting work on the helmet. It all looks really nice. Check out the sculpting work on the armor again. That looks really good. On this side, we have some very similar details to the opposite side, but it still looks nice. The blade is a little bit different. So very cool. The belt looks nice. We have some gold in there, a little bit more blues. Then we have this piece. These pieces look nice, but the thing I hate about them is that they're not secured down, so they just pop off, and that kind of sucks. I don't like that at all. And then down here we have some nice sculpting work. And that's really my big gripe with this figure, that all these like armored pieces are loose, they come off. And that would be a cool idea if you could remove them all and then have like just a normal Batman. But check this out. If we remove this, he doesn't even have the Bat logo. So what's the point really of making it so all these armor pieces come off? And then even if it did, it would still have a weird neck piece. But it'd be cool if it came with an alternate head and then you could just remove this. And look at that, we're almost there. If it just had the Bat logo. Because these pieces could come off too if you remove the hand. They come off pretty easy. And why not just make a couple more removable pieces and have a Batman that could turn into just like a regular Batman, because it would have been an awesome figure just like that. But still, I am happy with what we have going on here. And I could always just glue those pieces down, which is probably what I'm going to do after I review the figure. Let me just put this back together real quick. And there he goes, put back all together, and he looks really cool. But one thing I will say is that I feel like it's a little inaccurate, because if this is based on Batman from the first Batman vs. Predator comic, I think that his whole body should be covered in armor, and there shouldn't be these pieces that kind of look like cloth, because, I mean, that wouldn't be very good if you're fighting Predator to have all these exposed areas. So I believe in the comic book, he was fully covered in armor, kind of like an Iron Man armor. So I'm not sure if this is based on maybe a different version that I'm not familiar with, but I'm pretty sure that it's based on that first comic, because he did come with a baseball bat, and, you know, there's a scene in there where he beats Predator with the baseball bat. So I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. But either way, I do like the way it looks. I just kind of wish that he was fully armored up. That would have been awesome. But let's take a look at this cape real quick. This cape is really nice. It has some weight to it, so it drapes down very nicely. And yeah, I really like this cape a lot. Neca does a pretty good job of incorporating soft goods along with, you know, the traditional plastic, so that's very cool. But yeah, overall I think this Batman is awesome. And the only QC issues I really had with him is that his elbows were stuck. But once I put it under some hot water for a little bit and messed with it and made it worked out fine. So for me, all I have to do is glue down these loose upper thigh pieces, and then I'm good to go. I'll be super happy with this Batman once I do that. And both figures come with some pretty cool accessories. They gave a lot more to Predator than they did Batman, but both of them come with some stuff, so I'm happy about that. But let's get into it, starting with the Predator's hands. He comes with two sets. The first pair is a set of gripping hands, and then he has a set of open hands, one that is like completely open and then one that's partially open. And then he comes with two different heads. The first head has a pretty standard Predator mask. He does have a head without the helmet on, and this looks really cool too. I like the skin texture a lot. The teeth look nice, and I really like the eyes. They kind of look like human eyes, so that's kind of disturbing. But yeah, it looks really nice. And then he does have the dreads on this head as well, as always. But yeah, it's a really good looking head sculpt. And then he does have this cool looking spear, but I'm a little surprised by the lack of paint details on this. It's pretty much just gray. It doesn't look like plastic or anything, so it's okay. But usually Neca kind of goes above and beyond when it comes to the paint details. On here, that's not really the case, but I do like the way it looks, and it does extend right here in the middle. And the Predator doesn't have any problem holding it with the gripping hands that he comes with. And then he does come with this little disc, and it looks like it should be able to pop into his leg piece right here, but I wasn't able to get it to stay in there. The hole patterns kind of match up with each other, and the sculpting work matches up, but it just won't pop in. It looks like the outer rim here is just too small for the blade itself. It looks like maybe you could kind of work it in there, but I've been trying for a minute and it's not working. But this thing is cool. There's some nice details on there. As you can see, it's sculpted very nice. Got a lot of stuff going on in there. And then same thing on this side. And then one last thing for Predator, he does have this shoulder cannon piece, which is removable, so that's why I'm considering it an accessory, but just kind of pops onto him. And once you have it on there, it fits on there securely. There's two holes that hold it in place. It's a little tough to put it on, so I don't know if I'll do it here on camera. Maybe I'll try real fast. You got to get these two pegs to line up with the holes, and there we go. So once it's on there, it's pretty good, and it does have like a little gun that pops up and rotates around, so that's nice. And it's sculpted very well with some really nice looking details. It has like some different types of metallic type of colors in there. So that's really cool. I like this gun that pops up. And they did throw in a couple of accessories for Batman, but nothing too special. He does come with the bat that looks pretty cool. It's a little simple, but there is some Predator blood on it, so that's nice. And then it does come with this little gun, which is really simple, but it kind of reminds me of like a gun from Planet of the Apes or something. So I'm into that. It has like a primitive look, but still kind of like advanced and alien. So I do like that. A couple of simple things, but they are cool. And then he does come with one interchangeable hand, so he is able to hold onto both of these weapons with no problem at all. And for some quick size comparisons, we have Batman and Predator alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And these NECA figures are 7-inch scale, so obviously they're bigger than Marvel Legends figures. Next up, we have them alongside the Black Series Boba Fett and the Marvel Select Infinity War Iron Man. Next up, we have them alongside the Fantastic Four Classics Super Skrull. I think that's what line it was from, Fantastic Four Classics. I don't remember, but that's an awesome figure. And the Marvel Select Comic Book Spider-Man. And just to throw a couple random figures in here, I have them alongside the Marvel Legends Moon Knight and the Marvel Select Ultron. And then next up, we have them alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Michael Myers and the Mezco 112 Collective Sovereign Knight Batman. Next, we have them alongside the NECA Pan's Labyrinth Fawn figure and the Shocker Toys Tick figure. And then next up, we have them alongside the NECA DC vs. Dark Horse, Alien, and Superman figure. And just a quick update on Superman, I did contact NECA to try to get a replacement because of his feet issue, and they said I have to wait until they get their replacement. So hopefully they come through with that, but it kind of feels like they will. So I'm confident that I'll have a good Superman pretty soon here, and I hope that works out because I really like that Superman a lot. He looks incredible. But anyways, all these figures look nice together. And I do hope to pick up the New York Comic Con exclusive Batman versus Alien or Joker Alien figure. We'll see if I'll be able to get that, but I like the way these guys look together. So even though both figures had a lot of issues like stuck joints and things like that, once they're loose and freed up, both of them actually have pretty good articulation setup. So let's start off by taking a look at Predator here. His head is able to move side to side. He's got a little bit of tilt to it that's nice. He can't really look up too high, but he can look down to right there, which is nice because he is taller than Batman. And then for the torso, he has a mid-torso cut and a waist cut. And you really have to use both of them to get any use out of the torso. He is able to move to the side. He can move this way. Actually, not much movement in the torso. I wish it was a little bit better, but if you work with it, you could still use it to get some decent poses. So you could crunch to about right there. I mean, it's not horrible. I guess that's all right. He could go back to about right there. So yeah, I mean, the torso's okay, but there's just a lot going on here, so it's kind of hard to mess with it here. And he can twist side to side with either one of those joints. And then for the arms, he has pretty good articulation in the arms, but for this shoulder, it was very tight and couldn't move, especially when it had that shoulder pad on there. I don't think I'm going to glue it back on. Probably just going to leave it as is. But anyways, his arm is able to go all the way around. He has ball jointed shoulders. I really can't bring this arm without like fearing that I'm going to snap this peg, so we'll jump over here. And he can bring his arm out to the side. This little shoulder pad actually gets out of the way, so that's really nice. And then you have the upper bicep swivel. You have double jointed elbows, which are awesome. A swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. And then for the legs, let's see what we have going on here. You can't really get him out to the side because he has all these like armor pieces and things like that. So it's pretty much as far as you're going to get. He can bring them forward a nice amount, so that's pretty good. And then he could bring them back a really nice amount too. He has the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, no lower leg swivel, but he does have a swivel at the foot, and he does have a little bit of rocking action too, so that's nice. Looks like it's a little ball joint in there, so that's cool. Then you could get his feet to come up to about right there, and they could come down to right there. So the articulation setup is pretty nice on Predator. It's just that there's a lot of things on him that kind of prevent you from using it, like the shoulder pads and stuff like that. But you know, I think the articulation's pretty good on this guy. And Batman has some really good articulation too. Nothing mind-blowing, but I think it's a pretty good articulation setup for a NECA figure. So his head is able to move side to side. He's got a little bit of tilt to it. He can look up to right there, which is pretty decent. And then he could look down to right there. And then for the torso, he's got a pretty nice ab crunch. Check this out. It could crunch forward a really nice amount, but then it starts to push the armor apart. But still, you get some really nice range out of that. Check that out. That's a really good bend. And then it could come back to right there. which is okay. So the torso is pretty decent. And then you have a waist swivel. And then for the arms, you have ball jointed shoulders that are under this shoulder pad. And you can't really bring his arm all the way around because of the shoulder pad, but I mean, that's okay. You could get it forward to about right there, which is pretty nice. You could bring him back to right there. And it is a soft piece, so it gets out of the way as much as it can, so I could appreciate that. And then his arms come out to the side to right there. And then he has the upper bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows, which after a bunch of work, they're able to actually bend, so that's nice. And then for his legs, he could kick out to the side to right there. He could kick forward to right there. He could bring his legs back, really nice amount. And then he has upper thigh swivel. And these hip joints seem to be pretty good. I don't feel like they're gonna break or anything, so I'm happy about that. And then he has double jointed knees, lower leg swivel, a little bit of up and down here at the foot, some rocking action, does he have a swivel at the foot? Maybe just a slight swivel, but it's kind of blocked by the little foot armor thing here. That's okay, because you get your swivel from up here anyway, so that's fine. And then he has toe articulation. Look at that. Cool. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the articulation on Batman. Think it's pretty good. Okay, so overall, I do like these figures, but to be completely honest with you, I'm really disappointed in this set. It wasn't a very fun experience to open these guys up and mess with them. There was a lot of stuck joints and QC issues, especially with the Predator figure, and it was really disappointing because I was looking for an excuse to check out a NECA Predator figure, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that without having to buy a NECA figure by itself for no reason. So in this case, I was able to get this Batman figure, which I wanted, and also check out a NECA Predator figure, but man, he was really disappointing. That knee peg that broke really blew my mind. It cracked in such an awkward place, and then the arm just wouldn't work, and eventually I feel like that peg is just gonna shear off, and then the shoulder pad fell off, and it just wasn't a very fun figure to mess with. I had to like keep heating up the joints to get them to move, and you know, if I have to do all that stuff, but the figure doesn't break, then I'm okay with it. And that's the case with Batman. He had some stuck joints, but, you know, I put some heat to his elbows, and after a while, they loosened up, and now he moves just fine, and nothing broke on it. So, you know, he had some issues, but I'm fine with Batman. I think that he came out really nice. And at the end of the day, that's really what I wanted from this set, was the Batman figure. So, I can't say that I didn't get what I wanted out of the set, but I don't think I would have paid $60 for a single pack NECA Batman figure. That seems like a little too much, you know? So I kind of feel like I got robbed a little bit here because, you know, even though Batman is what I came for, I was expecting to enjoy the Predator figure. I was at least hoping to enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the Alien figure, which I liked a lot, surprisingly, because I wasn't expecting much out of that. I was hoping to like the Predator figure as much as I liked the Alien, but it just didn't work out that way. It wasn't a pleasant experience to handle this Predator figure, so it does kind of suck. And I did send some pictures of the Predator figure to the NECA QC department, and hopefully they eventually replace it. It sounds like it's going to be a while before they'll be able to do that, but we'll see. And same thing for Superman. I sent pictures over to them. We'll see what happens. And yeah, it's just these sets, I mean, I really wanted to love them, but overall they're pretty disappointing. Out of the 4 figures, 2 of them had QC issues that I couldn't look past. One of them had some small QC issues that I was able to fix, and then I'm fine with it. And then the other figure is a good figure. I'm just not crazy interested in the property. So, you know, it's a real mixed bag here. And, you know, hopefully NECA makes it right and gives me a new Predator and a new Superman, and, you know, that'll be the end of that. And those figures come, and they're in perfect condition with no QC issues, and then I'll be completely happy. But as it is now, it's a little disappointing that I had to wait in line for so long to get these and fight through the Comic-Con crowd. You know, it's just a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to have this armored Batman figure, and, you know, that's what I came for. So it is what it is. But I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff.
And if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and like it.
And peace.